मुस्तकीम वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला सय्यिदिल अंबिया'i वल मुरसलीन व अला आलिहि त्वय्यिबीन अत्ताहिरीन व अस्हाबिहि अजमईन अम्मा बअद फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम ला उक़सिमु बिहाज़ल बलद व अंत हिल्लुम बिहाज़ल बलद व वालिदिन व मा वलद फ़क़ाल अल्लाहु अज़्ज़ा व जल फ़िल क़ुरआनिल मजीद वल फ़ुरक़ानिल हमीद वक़ाल अल्लाहु अज़्ज़ा व जल फ़ी शानि हबीबिही मुख़बिरन व आमिरन इन्नल्लाहा व मलाइकतहु युसल्लूना अलन नबी या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू सल्लू अलैहि व सल्लिमू तस्लीमा अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला सय्यिदिना व मौलाना मुहम्मदिन व अला आलि सय्यिदिना व मौलाना मुहम्मदिन व बारिक व सल्लिम व सल्लि अलैहि। इस आयत मुबारका जिसकी को तिलावत करने का शर्फ मैंने हासिल किया है, Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, وَوَالِدٍ وَمَا وَلَدٍ. He takes several qasams, several oaths in the beginning of this surah, Surah Balad. Allah इस सूरत में कसमें उठाता है और कसम उठाने का कायदा और कानून होता है, और वो ये है कि जब मैं और आप कसम उठाते हैं, when we take an oath, we don't take an oath of something insignificant. किसी छोटी चीज की कसम नहीं खाई जाती. We don't say, I won't say, I take oath or I swear by my scarf, or I swear by this mic. या यूं नहीं मैं कहूँगा कि मुझे इस पंखे की कसम है या मुझे इस लाइट की कसम है. किसी छोटी चीज की कसम नहीं खाई जाती. We don't take oath of something insignificant or small. When we take an oath as mu'min, as a Muslim, the rule is that if you take an oath, अगर हम कसम खाते हैं तो या तो सबसे बड़ी जात अल्लाह की जात की कसम खाई जाती है या उसके कुरान की. We take the qasam and oath of either Allah, His Zat, or we take the oath of His Kalam, the Quran. But when it came to, so we must understand that is our rule. But what about when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Again, if you and I don't take qasams and oaths over something insignificant, then imagine the status of that item or that thing which Allah takes a qasam of. अगर मैं और आप किसी छोटी चीज की कसम नहीं खाते तो जरा सोचिए उस चीज का क्या मकाम और हैसियत होगी जिसकी कसम अल्लाह अज़्ज़ा व जल खुद रब्बुल आलमीन उठाता है. और अल्लाह इस सूरत में कसम खाता है और कहता है ववालिदिन, मुझे कसम है बाप की. I swear by your fathers. अब मुफस्सिरीन ने यहाँ तहकीक की और उन्होंने अपनी आरा पेश की कि which father is Allah Azza wa Jal referring to. Some said it is Abul Bashar, Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. कुछ ने कहा कि नहीं, यहाँ अल्लाह का मतलब है हजरत इब्राहीम अलैहि सलाम, Abul Anbiya, the father of the prophets. Some said no, it is referring to the greatest father in creation, which is the father of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Sayyidina Abdullah. But the मुफस्सिरीन इजमा इस बात पर हुआ कि यहाँ बाप का लफ्ज, वालिद का लफ्ज आम है. It is open, it is not specified. यानी अल्लाह रब्बुल इज़्ज़त ने इस सूरत में कायनात के तमाम बापों की कसम उठाकर बात की. Allah has taken oath of every single father in creation. From Adam alayhi salam to the day of judgment. Every father, Allah has taken a qasam. Imagine the status of a father. The father who Allah Azza wa Jal takes a qasam and an oath about. We've heard throughout our lives the shan and status of mothers. और माँ की अजमत और शान तो हम नहीं पहचान सकते, और अल्लाह कुरान में जगह जगह माँ की अजमत और शान बयान फरमाता है। लेकिन पूरा कुरान पढ़ लें, अलिफ लाम मीम से वन्नास तक, read the entire Quran, but nowhere will you see that Allah Azza wa Jal has taken the oath of a mother. कहीं भी अल्लाह ने माँ की कसम उठा के बात नहीं की। लेकिन जब आपके और मेरे वालिद की, आपके और मेरे बाप की बात आई, तो अल्लाह फरमाता है ववालिदिन, कसम उठा के बात करता है। इतनी अजमत और इतनी शान बाप को अता की कि जब अल्लाह ने चाहा तो अल्लाह ने कसम उठा के बात की। इतनी बड़ी शान, इतनी बड़ी शान। और आज the issue, the status, the problems that we are in, we no longer respect our fathers. We no longer have any consideration of our fathers. माँ की अजमतें और शानें बहुत ऊंची हैं, लेकिन बहुत कम हमने कभी बाप के बारे में उलमा से सुना या मुकर्रिरीन से। Very little do we hear about the status of fathers, and it's important. और आज जो यहाँ मौजूद है, मैं चाहूंगा कि आप बाप बनकर ना सुने, बल्कि बेटे बनके सुने, औलाद बनके, बेटियां बनके। हमारी माए बहनें भी मौजूद हैं। Listen to what I'm saying, not as fathers. Many of you will be fathers, but no. Let's look at this as through the eyes of children, through the eyes of being a son and a daughter. Our fathers, they work overtime in the factories. They work all night riding taxis, driving taxis. They work 15, 16 hours a day running their businesses. Why do they do all of this? क्यों करते हैं ये? इतनी मुशक्कत बाप उठाता है। Why? जब ईद आती है तो बाप को अपनी फिक्र नहीं होती। He's not worried about himself. He's worried कि मैंने अपने बच्चे के ईद के जोड़े लेने हैं। I want to buy clothes for my children. I want to buy new shoes. I want to buy him a nice Eid present. I want my daughter to have X, Y, and Z on Eid. And when it comes to us, thinking about our fathers, we refer to him as old man, my old man. We refer to him and slander him. And even to the extent where I have heard with my own ears that they swear, बूढ़ा कह के एक तरफ कर देते हैं कि बाप तू तो बूढ़ा है, तू क्या समझता है बाहर क्या हो रहा है? What do you know what's going on in society outside? I'm going to go with my friends. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But remember, when you do this, you are transgressing the sanctity of He whose sanctity Allah Azza wa Jal has raised. He has raised so high that He takes a qasam of fathers. And as I said, this isn't any specific father. This is your father and my father. ये हमारे बापों की बात हो रही है। इतनी शान और अजमत जब अल्लाह ने वालिद को दी है, Allah has given the father so much status in the Quran. And Allah and Aka Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam said that Jannah is in the feet of our mothers. And जन्नत हमारी माँ के कदमों में है. But how will you enter Jannah? जन्नत में कैसे दाखिल होती हैं? Through the door. दरवाजे से. आपके सामने महल भी होना. You are stood in front of a palace and it's yours. Somebody says this is your palace, but you don't have the key to the door and the door is locked. How will you enter? उस महल का क्या फायदा जब आपके पास ना चाबी है ना दरवाजा है जिससे आप दाखिल हो सकते हैं. आप कहेंगे यार ये what use is this to me? I can't enter the palace. Aka Kareem alayhi salatu wasalam said, yes, Jannah is at the feet of your mother, but remember there are 3 doors to Jannah and your father is the middle door to Jannah. If you want to access Jannah, if you want to enter Jannah, then you must, yes, to get to Jannah, the route is your mother. Jannah is at her feet. But if you want to enter inside Jannah, अगर जन्नत में दाखिल होना चाहते हो, जन्नत तक पहुंच गए माँ की कदमों में, लेकिन दाखिल होने के लिए you must enter through the door of your father. And for those of us that disrespect our fathers, that turn our backs when he's speaking to us, how will you enter your Jannah? When Allah will close that door for you. Allah says, the Prophet ﷺ says that every morning, that child who wakes up in the morning, I'm not talking about those sons and those daughters that are out all night, and when their father says to them, when they come back, where were you? And they say, none of your business. I'm not talking about those sons and daughters. I'm not talking about those sons and daughters that when their fathers are speaking to them, they turn their backs. I'm not talking about those sons and daughters that raise their voices and shout at their mothers and fathers. I'm not talking about those children that call and refer to their fathers as old man. No, I'm talking about that child. The Prophet referred to that child, that when that son or that daughter wakes up in the morning and gazes upon his father's or her father's face with love and smiles, बस इतना सुबह उठ के सरकार ने फरमाया कि वो जो औलाद अपने बाप के चेहरे को प्यार से और मुस्कुरा के देख ले एक मर्तबा, once, not you need to look and keep looking, no, just a gaze with love and respect at your father. The Prophet of Allah said that Allah will write 1 accepted Hajj and 2 accepted Umrahs in his Nama-e-A'mal. एक मकबूल हज और 2 मकबूल उम्रों का सवाब मिलेगा. What's the key word here? Accepted. अक्सर यहाँ लोग बैठे होंगे जो हाजी हैं, who have been to Hajj. There will be hajis here. Plenty of hajis you meet. And when they come back from Saudi, you say to them, Haji Sahib, did you get a certificate of acceptance from the Saudi government? They're going to say. Or you say to the Saudi government, did you put a stamp on the passport to say, this person's Hajj is accepted in the court of Allah? They're going to say no. We don't know if his Hajj is accepted. We just facilitate. We are the caretakers and custodians of Harmain Sharifain. We can't guarantee anything. That father or that left his family in Sydney, went nearly to the other side of the world, to Hijaz. He ran between mountains. He walked around the Kaaba. He prayed. He said salam to the Prophet ﷺ. He camped in the heat of the deserts in Mina. He stayed in the blistering heat in Arafat. सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के वो बंदा हज पे निकला. लेकिन जब वो वापस आया, उससे पूछा, हाजी साहब, आपका रब आपसे राजी हो गया? आपका रब ने आपका हज कबूल कर लिया? Did Allah accept your Hajj? He's going to say, Janab, all I can say to you is I completed my Hajj. मैं हज कर आया हूं, लेकिन कबूल करना ये तो अल्लाह के हाथ में है. This is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do all of this and we have no guarantees that our Hajj is accepted. But वाह क्या शान है कमली वाले की. ना तो सिर्फ उसने जन्नत को हर एक घर में लाके खड़ा कर दिया. Not only did he bring Jannah to every home, but he said, you can do all of this and your Hajj may not be accepted. But if you want a guarantee, अगर गारंटी चाहते हो कि तुम्हारा हज मकबूल है, तो प्यार से, just once, gaze with love and respect at your father. एक निगाह प्यार और मोहब्बत से मुस्कुरा के अपने वालिद का चेहरा तको. And that is a great station that Allah has, a facility that Allah has given us. Then the Prophet of Allah said that हम सब चाहते हैं अल्लाह की रज़ा. You and I, we fast. Ramzan का महीना आता है, and in the summer months here, you fast in 40 degrees heat. You fast for 15 hours, 16, 17 hours a day. In the UK, at the minute, in June, we are fasting for 20 hours a day. We fast all day for a whole month. No food, no water, nothing. We get on the masalla and we pray our salah. We grind our forehead against the floor. We go to Hajj. We part with our hard-earned money to pay zakah and sadaqah. We do all of this. Why? Because we want Allah to be pleased with us. हम चाहते हैं कि अल्लाह की रज़ा हासिल हो. सारी रात नफल और इबादत में गुजारते हैं. We wake up in the third part of the night, pray tahajjud and cry to the Lord, Oh Allah, be pleased with me. Ya Allah, मुझसे राजी हो जा. लेकिन किसी को कुछ नहीं पता. Nobody knows if Allah is pleased with him or not. You can pray all night. You can stand in qiyam all night. Go into sajda all night. You can perform umrah every month of the year. You can go to Hajj every year of your life. But you don't know, is Allah pleased? When somebody asks you, is Allah pleased with you? You will say, my friend, my brother, my sister, I don't know if Allah is pleased with me. I can only pray. Sari raat ro ke ye dua mangte hain, oh Allah, be pleased with me, be pleased with me. But look at the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, if you want to know that if your Lord Rabbul Alameen is pleased with you, if you want to know, then go to your father and see, मेरा बाप मुझसे राजी है. अगर तुम्हारा बाप तुमसे राजी है, तो समझ लेना कि तुम्हारा रब भी तुमसे राजी है. Know that if your father is pleased with you, the Prophet of Allah said, then understand that your Lord is also pleased with you. The pleasure we seek, पूरी कायनात अल्लाह की रज़ा चाहती है. और कुर्बान जाएं आपके और मेरे बाप पर. May we be sacrificed on our fathers. Those fathers that the Prophet said, you can cry all night for the pleasure of Allah and you will never know if He is pleased with you. But go to your father, and if he is pleased with you, then know that your Lord, Rabbul Alameen, is pleased with you. And today, how do we treat our fathers? How do we disrespect our fathers? When he says, where are you going? None of your business. We shout at him, raise our voices. No. Islam says, kiss the hands of your father. Please your father. If he is upset with you, hug him. Apologize to him, kiss his hand and say, Father, forgive me. Because until your father does not forgive you, your Lord will not forgive you. Until your father is not pleased with you, your Lord, Rabbul Alameen, will not be pleased with you. I said at the beginning and for the people who are entering and came after. Listen to this, not as a father. Many of you are fathers. Listen to this as a child. बेटा या बेटी बनकर ये गुफ्तगू समात फरमाए, वालिद बनकर नहीं. It's a very grave station. One day, बाप की अजमत क्या है ना, उससे पूछो जिसका बाप नहीं है. You want to know the status of a father? Ask him who has no father. या उस कायनात के शहंशाह को पूछो. That king of the alameen, who also had no father. Yours and mine, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. One day, the Prophet of Allah went out, and Abu Jahl came with a rock and hit the blessed forehead of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Sar se khoon behne lag gaya. Sarkar alayhi salatu wasalam began to cry. And whilst he was crying, he went to the Kaaba. He took the gulaf of the Kaaba and he began to cry and said, "Oh Allah, मैं तेरी खातिर पत्थर खा रहा हूं. For you, O Lord, I am taking these rocks. I am bleeding." He cried and he cried and he cried. That evening, his uncle, Amir Hamza radiallahu anh, came from hunting, came back home, and his servant, she came and placed the meal in front of him. And जैसे उसने खाना रखा, उस लौंडी के आंसू निकलना शुरू हो, रोना शुरू कर दिया. She began to cry. Amir Hamza said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you crying?" She was crying and she said, "Today I saw Muhammad. He was holding the gulaf of the Kaaba and he was crying in so much pain कि जब वो मंजर मैं याद करती हूँ तो मेरा रोना मैं बेबस हो जाती हूँ, मेरा कलेजा फट जाता है. I can't do anything. I can't control my emotion." He said, "What happened?" She said, "He went out. Abu Jahl came with a rock and hit his blessed head and split his head open." He became angry. He was a warrior. He got up, took his bow, went to the house of Abu Jahl और अपना कमान लेके उसके सर में मारा. He hit Abu Jahl in the head with the bow, and then he ran to the Kaaba, to his nephew Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When he saw his nephew, he took his nephew by the arm and hugged him and said, "Ya Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, don't cry. Ro mat." Ravi likhta hai, the narrator writes that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam, unhone bazu churai. He freed himself from the grasp of his uncle, Amir Hamza. Amir Hamza said, "Main tumhara chacha, your uncle, I have come for you." He said, the Prophet of Allah said, "Jaye jaye, mera chacha koi nahi, mera baap koi nahi. Aaj mera baap hota, to main bazaron mein patthar nahi khata. Aaj meri walida hoti, to main kone mein baith ke rota nahi. I wouldn't be crying like this if my father was alive. I wouldn't be stoned by people in public if my father was alive." If you want to know the status of a father, उससे पूछो जिसका वालिद नहीं है, who does not have a father. और मियाँ साहब आरिफ खरीद, he says, "Veer veeran deveri, veer veeran de bazu, बाप सिर दे ताज मुहम्मद, मावा ठंडियां छावां." Ask those people. It is said that your fathers are like the sun, सूरज की तरह. They are hot, गर्म है, लेकिन जिस दिन सूरज नहीं चढ़ा ना, उस दिन क़यामत बर्पा हो जाएगी. The day the sun does not rise, your fathers are like the sun. The day the sun does not rise, on that day it will be Qiyamah. Respect your fathers. Let me finish There's a couple of other things, but let me finish with the final hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. You will understand the status of a father. That father that Allah picks qasam of in the Quran. Your father, my father, kainat ke sare baapon ki qasam kha ke Allah ne baat ki. And the Prophet says, hadith sharif mein aata hai, कि एक दिन एक नौजवान आया. A young man came and said, Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, मैं अपनी बाप की शिकायत लेकर आया. I've come to complain about my father. He takes my money. I work hard all month, and at the end of the month he takes my money. The Prophet of Allah said, really? Sahaba ko kaha, jao iske baap ko bulao. The Sahabi went to call his father, knocked on the door and said, the Prophet of Allah has called you. Imagine. वो तो खुशी से लहराने लग गए. आज किसी का उम्रे का टिकट निकल आए ना, पता हो कि सरकार ने मदीना बुलाया है, तो खुशी से पांव में जमीन पे लगते, तो उसका क्या हाल होगा जिसको हकीकत में सरकार ने दावत दी. When he heard that his beloved and the beloved of Allah is calling him, he quickly came. He was old, white beard, walking stick, झुकी हुई कमर थी. भागता भागता चलता चलता सरकार की बारगाह में पहुंचा. हाथ जोड़ के he said, Ya Rasulullah, you called me. And the Prophet said, yes. Who is this young man? ये नौजवान कौन है? बड़े नाज और फख्र से कहा, with great pride, this is my son, Ya Rasulullah. He said, really? Today your son has brought a complaint against you in the court of Rasulullah, in the domain of Allah. He said, really? He said, what? He said, he is saying that all month he works hard. At the end of the month, you take his money. तुम उससे ज़्यादती करते हो. वो रोने लग गया. उसी लम्हे Jibreel Amin नाज़िल हुए. Jibreel came and whispered in the ear of Rasulullah and said, Ya Rasulullah, ask this father. He thought some poetry in his heart. उसने अपने दिल में अपने बेटे के बारे में कुछ आशार सोचे थे. इससे पूछे, वो आशार बताए, वो शेर बताए. What was that poetry in his heart? The Prophet of Allah said, tell me, you have thought poetry in your heart about your son. Tell me that poetry. He was astonished. Ya Rasulullah, मैंने तो वो कलिमात जुबान पर कभी लाया नहीं. आपको कैसे इल्म के मेरे दिल की बात क्या है? How do you know what's in my heart? He पहले तो यकीन था ना. He knew already. But after that day, his iman was even stronger about Rasulullah. You know what is in my heart? I haven't admitted that poetry to myself yet. And he began to cry, the father. And he said, yeah, and in his poetry, he recited the poetry. और उन अशार में उसने बताया अपने अंदाज में. He said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I was a child. I grew into a young man. I got married. After I got married, I made dua to Allah for a son. I made that dua that Zakaria made. I made that dua that Ibrahim made. All the prophets made dua for a son who is pious. He said, I made those duas and Allah was kind to me. He blessed me with a son. And then that son, मुझे उसके साथ इतनी मोहब्बत थी कि जहाँ जहाँ मैं जाता अपने बेटे को अपने कांधे पे, I would put him on my back and I would take him everywhere I would go. रात को जब वो रोता तो मैं भी रोता. He would cry, I would cry. When he was in pain, I would feel the pain. When he would laugh, I would laugh. When he would cry, I would cry. He said, I was so attached to him कि जब उसको दर्द होता मेरे ऊपर क़यामत बर्पा हो जाती. When he was ill, I would run around the city of Medina looking for a doctor, a hakim, a tabib who could cure him. He said, like this, time went on, and my love for him grew stronger and stronger, and I grew closer to him. And then, as I got older, जैसे मेरी उम्र बढ़ती गई, मेरी कमर झुकती गई. My back began to bend over as I grew older. और इसी दौरान my son became a young man. वो जवान होता गया और जैसे जैसे वो जवान हुआ मेरी कमर झुकती गई, उसकी कमर सीधी होती गई. और फिर he cried and he said, Ya Rasulullah, that day came when my son was young. He नौजवान था और उसने मुझे पूछना ही छोड़ दिया. He stopped asking me. When I speak to him, he turns his back to me. When he addresses me, he raises his voice to me. When I ask him, और अब हालत ये है कि जब वो मुझसे गुफ्तगू करता है मेरा दिल लरज़ जाता है. My heart shakes when he speaks to me. He speaks to me with so much force and anger. And he was crying. When he looked up, the Sahabi, he saw Sahaba, Zaro Kitar ro rahe hain. The Sahaba are crying. He looked up at the blessed face of Rasulullah. And the Prophet of Allah was crying so much, that the blessed beard, Dari Mubarak, was soaking wet with the tears of Rasulullah. The Rasulullah, yeah, Rasul kaun hai? This is that Rahmatan lil Alameen, that when he is stoned in the bazaars of Taif, in the streets of Taif, and his sandals are filled with blood, and he is said, talk to Allah against these people, what does he do? पत्थर जिन्होंने मारे उन्हीं के लिए हाथ उठा के दुआ मांगी. ये वो रहमत वाले नबी हैं. That Nabi of Rahmah who prayed for those people instead of speaking against them. What did he do? He became angry. Jalal में आए, उस नौजवान का गिरेबान पकड़ा, grabbed that man by the child by the throat, and he said, what did he say to him? Listen to the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Prophet of Allah said, Anta wa maluka abika. You and your wealth belong to your father. Ja, jo karna hai kar lo. Tu aur tera maal tere baap ka hai. And today, this is how we treat our fathers. We should give them our earnings and say to them, oh father, give us our share. और उस बाप ने कहा कि मुझे इसकी माल की क्या जरूरत है? I don't need his माल. I am too old to work. But he has young sisters, my daughters, who are getting married. And I save a little bit of his money for them. My sisters might visit me once a month. And when they come, I can't earn. So I use a little bit of that money to put food on the table for them. I don't need his money. I don't use it for myself. I use it for his sisters and his family. Let us understand the status of fathers. Let us understand the sanctity that Allah Azza wa Jal has given your father and my father. And the father's last hadith. I know time is short and we are gone, but I must relate this hadith to you. Bukhari Sharif ki hadith hai. अगर सरकार ने फरमाया आपके वालिदैन जिंदा है ना, तो जाके कदम पकड़ो. Kiss their feet and kiss their hands and ask for forgiveness if your fathers are alive. And if your fathers are not alive, what do you do? The Prophet of Allah said, Bukhari Sharif ki hadith hai, कि जुमे के रोज अपने बाप की कब्र पर चले जाओ. Go to the grave of your father on the day of Jummah and make dua for him. And what will be your reward? Your entire week's sins will be forgiven. तुम्हारे पूरे हफ्ते के गुनाह माफ किए जाएंगे. लोग आज कहते हैं ना कि what do we gain by going? Bukhari Sharif, the Prophet of Allah said, go to the grave of your father, make dua on the day of Friday, और पूरे हफ्ते के गुनाह माफ किए जाएंगे. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Please fill up the gaps in the front. There's a lot of people outside.